Welcome to the video. Today we will explore whether leaving a stable, low-expense situation for a big city opportunity can raise your long-term career ceiling. We will consider the hidden advantages of proximity, the risks of moving, and how to mitigate those risks with a disciplined plan. Let's begin by framing the core dilemma, and then transition into a clear agenda so you know what's coming. Here is the agenda for today. First, we introduce the dilemma. Next, we examine the zip code advantage and compare stability versus opportunity. Then we present a concrete risk mitigation plan and a practical budget buffer. After that, we cover proximity tactics for traction and discuss risks, realities, and a clear disclaimer. Finally, we wrap up with key takeaways and a short quiz to consolidate learning. Now let's smoothly transition to the core dilemma. The central dilemma is choosing between immediate comfort and long-term career ceiling. While a rent-free situation and steady hourly pay provide financial comfort, it may also keep you in a stagnant lane. In contrast, relocating to a major economic center increases living costs and short-term discomfort, but it may also open doors that are otherwise closed due to geography. With that foundation in place, let's transition into the concept of the zip code advantage and why proximity often changes outcomes. Recruiters frequently prioritize candidates who live nearby. A local address signals immediate availability, fewer logistical complications, and a higher likelihood of accepting an offer quickly. This proximity diminishes scheduling friction and the risk associated with relocation logistics. For highly competitive entry-level positions, these subtle advantages can move your application from the bottom of the stack to a shortlist. If you are struggling to generate interviews, changing your zip code can materially improve your chances. With that in mind, let's transition to a high-level map of the decision paths you might consider. This mind map visualizes two main paths. On the stability side, the benefits include low expenses and comfort, but with potential slower growth and isolation from key networks. On the city opportunity side, you face higher expenses, but you gain proximity to employers, denser networking, and a faster learning loop. The diagram also flags risks, such as financial strain and burnout. Finally, it lists mitigations, like maintaining a 3 to 6 month cash buffer, using a bridge job, sharing housing, and relying on public transit. Now let's compare these two options directly to clarify trade-offs. On the left, stability offers lower expenses, predictable cash flow, and reduced pressure. However, it may limit exposure to networks and opportunities, which can hinder career acceleration. On the right, moving to a city increases costs and compresses your financial runway, but it also strengthens your proximity signal to employers. You gain access to denser professional networks, more interviews, and faster feedback loops. These factors can accelerate your trajectory. Next, let's move from concept to execution, with a mitigation plan to manage the risks of relocating. Here is a step-by-step plan to reduce risk. First, accumulate a 3 to 6 month cash buffer based on your actual monthly expenses. Second, secure or accept a lower-paying bridge role in the city to establish presence and availability. Third, schedule weekly networking activities such as industry events and coffee meetings. Fourth, target employers within a short commute to minimize time and transportation costs. Fifth, track applications and interview feedback with a simple spreadsheet or CRM. Finally, time box the bridge phase and conduct structured reassessments at the 90 and 180-day marks. Next, let's visualize the decision flow so you can see how these steps connect. This flowchart starts by assessing monthly expenses and calculating a 3 to 6 month buffer. If the buffer is below target, the flow returns to saving mode. If on target, the flow continues to researching city costs, securing a bridge job, and then relocating. After relocation, the process emphasizes weekly networking, targeted applications, and iterative interviews. The plan includes checkpoints at 90 and 180 days to evaluate traction. Depending on results, you either adjust strategy, extend the bridge period, or decide whether to stay, upgrade your role, or return. Now, because the buffer is so critical, let's translate it into concrete numbers. This table provides an example monthly budget and buffer targets. The categories include rent and utilities, food and essentials, transport, phone and internet, insurance, and miscellaneous costs. In this example, total monthly expenses are approximately $2,500. Therefore, a 3-month buffer would be around $7,500 and a 6-month buffer about $15,000. These numbers will vary by city, housing choices, and lifestyle, so you should tailor them to your situation. Next, let's test your understanding with a quick quiz on proximity. Quiz time. The question is, which factor most directly explains why local candidates often get prioritized for interviews? Option A. They usually have higher salaries. Option B. They signal immediate availability and lower relocation friction. Option C. They are guaranteed to accept any offer. Option D. They have more years of experience than non-locals. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is that local candidates signal immediate availability and lower relocation friction. This reduces perceived risk and scheduling complexity for recruiters, which is why proximity can improve interview odds. Now let's move into specific proximity tactics you can implement immediately. To convert proximity into momentum, aim for 2 to 3 targeted events per week. At each event, set a goal for a handful of meaningful conversations rather than collecting many superficial contacts. Supplement this with daily coffee chats focused on practitioners who can share real insights. Volunteering at meetups or conferences can give you behind-the-scenes access to organizers and speakers. Use a simple tracking system to record names, companies, dates, and next actions. Follow up within 24 hours with a short message that reiterates value and proposes a concrete next step. Now, to give your first week structure, let's outline a 90-day timeline. This timeline divides the first 90 days into 4 phases. In the first 2 weeks, you focus on housing, budgeting, and securing or starting a bridge job. During days 15 to 45, you increase activity with multiple events per week, several coffee chats, and targeted applications. From days 46 to 75, you refine your resume using feedback, conduct mock interviews, and adjust your targeting. In the final phase, you launch a second wave of applications, ask for referrals, concentrate your interview efforts, and conduct a formal 90-day review. Before we proceed, we should address risks and provide a clear disclaimer. Relocating can be stressful, expensive, and time-consuming. Burnout is a genuine risk, so plan rest, set boundaries, and protect your financial runway. It is crucial to maintain perspective during the transition and avoid comparing your early results to others' long-term outcomes. With risks in sight, let's include a clear disclaimer to frame the limits of this guidance. This content is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or career advice. Your situation is unique, and you should conduct your own research and consider consulting a qualified professional. Relocation involves risk, so do not jeopardize essential needs such as healthcare, housing stability, or personal safety. Any numbers shown are illustrative and should be replaced with your actual costs. With that context established, let's extract the key points. The essential points are as follows. First, proximity can provide a subtle advantage that improves interview access. Second, treat relocation as an investment with a defined runway and clear milestones. Third, use a bridge job as a temporary mechanism rather than a long-term endpoint. Fourth, maintain a 3 to 6 month buffer to control risk. Fifth, network deliberately by combining events, coffee chats, and disciplined follow-up. Now, to reinforce these ideas, let's take one more short quiz. The next question is, what is the recommended non-negotiable cash buffer before relocating to a high-cost city? Option A, 1 to 2 months of expenses. Option B, 3 to 6 months of expenses. Option C, 9 to 12 months of expenses. Option D, a fixed $2,000 regardless of costs. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is 3 to 6 months of expenses. This range provides a practical runway to manage elevated costs, handle learning curves, and build traction through networking and interviews. As we close, let's summarize everything we covered today. In summary, staying in a comfortable low-expense setup can be safe, but may limit growth. By contrast, relocating to a city increases access to opportunities and accelerates learning. Use a bridge job as a stepping stone rather than a final destination. Safeguard your runway with a 3 to 6 month buffer and execute on a structured 90 to 180 day plan with checkpoints. Finally, let's close with a call to action. Thank you for watching. If this video was helpful, please like, share it with someone who is weighing a move, And subscribe for more practical career content. I would love to hear your city versus stability story, so share your thoughts and questions in the comments.